Today on Built to Last, there's science in those pipes.
The technology is leaps and bounds over what our parents used.
The evolving workplace.
Carpenters, they'll get up on the roof and they'll be installing the solar panels.
Grab your tool belt. It's time for Built to Last.
Built to Last is brought to you by the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Labor and Management Committee and Armstrong Ceilings. Faster, easier, better.
Welcome to Built to Last. I'm Monica Pedersen.
And I'm Mark Nilsson. We're here at the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Apprenticeship and Training Center. It's right here that members learn the many skills it takes to pursue a career in the trades.
Over the decades, vocational education has played a smaller and smaller role in high school curriculums, limiting students' pathways to the building trades. But all good things come around, and now there's a program giving students an alternative to pursuing a college degree and introducing them to lucrative careers as members of the Carpenters Union.
How can we make our students better prepared for life? That's the job of a high school.
So they get to high school as a freshman, they can kind of tailor their curriculum to a trade because the math, English, and associated science associated with a career in the trades, these trades are really high tech.
Our students really work hard to have experiences that will help them hone and refine what they want to do when they leave high school.
The Career Connections program is designed to help high school teachers introduce students to a lifelong career in the Carpenters Union.
45 years ago, I started in industrial education, Joliet Central High School, and we had a lot of vocational programs.
And these programs kind of disappeared for a while.
After 6 years and so forth, they had some layoffs. They were downsizing, because the curriculum, they had this big push on going to college.
I mean, it was college only. That was the only option. I think a lot of parents want their kids to go to college, and that's great, but college isn't for everybody.
It's important to have vocational education in the high schools. It's an opportunity for the kids that don't want to go to college.
The pendulum is swinging back because we're getting students that have degrees in which they had a hard time making a living, couldn't find employment. They're coming back to our union training centers, and they realize that having a trade, they can make a good living.
I'm glad to see that the high schools are finding value in coming back to career tech education.
So with the Career Connections curriculum available to any school, it shortens that learning curve.
The United Brotherhood of Carpenters that developed this curriculum really had to have some good developers over there because that curriculum is right on board and the math associated with that is terrific.
We wanted something that was geared more toward careers, toward that next step.
The curriculum was created to help the high schools start their own program.
12 is the wrong way, 5 is the right.
Eric Malone, my co-teacher, and I sat down and we basically planned the curriculum.
And we have a complete program. It tells you how many saws you need, how many drills you need, how much wood you need to create this project.
The textbook with the project books, 1, 2, and 3, it really does a nice job of tying in with the math book. So as teachers, we're using all the material and preparing our students for the projects with the math.
And then a blueprint of the project and a step-by-step information for a teacher to give this to their high school students.
So as the math teacher, I can teach 3, 4, 5, right triangle math, and then Eric can follow through with that when we're building the deck.
Just thrilled at the passion our staff has to reach out to the Carpenters Union and the Carpenters International Training Program to work with us, to connect us through the Career Connections, to give opportunities for students they didn't even know they had.
There's an opportunity for them. They may decide this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Having this class and showing me that I can be a trades and I don't have to go into so much debt to find something that I love to do.
A lot of teamwork, leadership, commitment, knowing that you have to be here for your crewmates.
I myself had a next-door neighbor that bought a piece of property next door to us and built his house from the ground up.
I had no clue. There was nobody in my family who was in the industry.
Even when I was doing some junior college, I was working for a framer part-time.
My junior year in high school, I took woodworking and fell in love with it.
And as I watched that, I got more and more interested and said, maybe this is an opportunity for me in the future.
I got into the carpenters apprenticeship program through a pre-apprenticeship with Chicago Women in Trades.
Taking a vocational education class changed my life.
It became apparent pretty quick that that's where my passion lies.
This is the first class that I ever actually had fun with, basically. Great teachers, great kids to work with.
Up a little. You know, the parents are excited because the kids are excited about school.
They can actually use what they learn in math in this trade over there, and it makes high school meaningful to them.
Seeing the excitement in my son makes me so happy as his mother, makes me so proud of him.
My dad is a union painter, and I love the fact he was able to raise a family with that job, and I'd love to follow in his footsteps and be a union carpenter.
This program is going to benefit the seniors within your high school because it's going to give them a hands-on experience with possible careers and trades, especially in carpentry.
Being in the union is like a pretty good job for the rest of your life. Good money, a lot of benefits to do.
Our community leaders, you know, in the trades, in business, in industry, inform us on what skills students need, and then it's up to us as a school to work with them to make it realized within the classroom.
The great thing is all those stakeholders in this, it's just about the kids.
Really, the whole image of a plumber is truly a trained, skilled mechanic.
At Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions, we take great pride in making a positive difference in the lives of people with the broadest portfolio in the industry and the technical performance to back it up. You can design and install with confidence. Our ceiling construction expertise, training, and pre-engineered ceiling solutions make it easy for you to seamlessly transition from one end of the building to the other, such as prefabricated soffit framing, the faster, easier, better way to build, Simple Soffit by Armstrong.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
From bridges and trains to iconic high-rises, have you ever wondered who's powering Chicago? Unlike our sports heroes, they go unnoticed. Yet they proudly keep our businesses, homes, and great city running. IBEW Local 134 electricians and the electrical contractors have the experience, training, and reliability to keep Chicago open for business.
Since the days of the aqueducts of ancient Rome, plumbers have had a close relationship with science. The plumbers of Local 130 take pride in this and are committed to maintaining a science-based approach to their work.
The conceptual idea of a plumber is so much more than fixing a leaky faucet or unclogging a toilet.
We want to create a new image of what this trade is.
Know their math skills, you got to know a little bit of the science behind what you're dealing with.
Because of our extensive training of our apprentices and the knowledge they have to have in science and math from the hands-on training of our 5-year program. Really, the whole image of a plumber is truly a trained, skilled mechanic.
Plumbers are professionals, we're mechanics.
So it's not just about the cold's on the right and the hot's on the left anymore.
Our slogan is, the plumbers protect the health of the nation. And I had heard that before I entered the trade, but I never fully understood just how real that was.
For example, you're out in the backyard, you're washing your dog, fire starts down the block, and see the commotion, you drop your hose from washing your dog in a mud puddle.
The potential catastrophic backflow, cross connections, it can be devastating.
Then that mud puddle could get sucked into the potable drinking water.
Backflow. These things could possibly lead to sickness or fatalities.
Through no one's fault, other than maybe there wasn't a working backflow assembly on it.
Clean water is essential. Water is life. You need it for everything.
Everyone's going to want it. Everyone needs drinking water. Everyone needs to flush the toilets. Everyone wants a kitchen.
Plumbers are basically the stewards of clean drinking water. From Lake Michigan to the water mains, under the ground, to the top of a 70-story building.
Once it's into the building, what's the water pressure at, right? If it's a high rise, how many floors does it go up, as we're going to lose pressure as we go up each floor?
How do you get water up to a 70-story high-rise?
If we had a booster pump to get it all the way to the top, on the lower floors, the pressure could be too high. So now we need to put in a pressure reducing station on separate floors to create zones in order for the whole building to work uniformly.
I believe the plumbers of today that come out of the 130 apprenticeship program are a whole new breed.
Plumbing is all triangles. A lot of it is running on 45s, a lot of it is running on 30 and 60-degree pipes. So what you have to do is make all runs into triangles and squares, essentially.
Changing the philosophy as we speak of the plumber from yesteryear.
The plumber's just coming in to plunge the toilet, pulls up in a rusty white van, no name on the side.
To the plumber of today. The education, the science, the math.
I was very inclined to math and science. I even took college courses.
The science and math involved and the technology that we're currently using is leaps and bounds over what our parents used.
I actually was part of the math team in high school, so.
We have to be these technical professionals. We have to be well-groomed in order to enter people's households, be respectful when we do enter.
You have to be able to communicate. You have to look the part.
My generation of plumbing is different because we have the physical presence of a professional.
So we're going to go low, high, high, low, remember?
As we grow and the science changes, we deal with things like Legionnaire's disease and Legionella bacteria in the piping systems. This is a fairly new thing. Licensed plumber needs to be aware of what they're walking into, or the steps we can take in order to remove that or alleviate that from the system.
We're licensed by the health department, and protecting our domestic water is probably the most important job that a plumber has.
Now we're starting to use recycled rainwater to service faucets in kitchens or flush toilets, and you see them using all of the wastewater in a house and repurposing it and bringing it back in as drinking water.
Plumbers Local 130, we capture rainwater from the roof. We use rainwater in our wet labs, and then once we're done with this rainwater, we capture it and put it into our drain water system.
If you don't do that right, you can really cause a lot of damage.
We have to be very vigilant about how we pipe our systems.
You have to be trained. You have to know what you're doing to be able to come into a house or come into an office building and do these things and keep everyone safe.
The trades was free education, essentially.
I worked at a department store in the plumbing department, and my curiosity just kind of sparked because of that.
Always enjoyed math and science in school, so I continued through high school, then graduated and went to the University of Iowa.
I was shadowing my stepdad to see if this was a career that would be right for me. I decided I did like it.
Anybody with a strong interest in science and math will do very well in this trade.
So I applied to join the union because our family's very pro-union.
After my civil engineering degree, I came home and started working for the family business and entered the Local 130 apprenticeship program.
I saw a flyer at a job fair, and I wasn't looking for a job, I was looking for a career.
I love plumbing because it is gnarly.
Sometimes yucky stuff, sometimes not yucky stuff.
As far as building a career, you can't go wrong here. The union takes care of you.
To get water to the top of skyscrapers, a series of pumps pushes the water up to the top where it's held in a reservoir. Turn on the faucet and the water flows down.
Well, the science boys have come up with a sunshine cake that makes electricity out of your sunlight.
Well, I'll be darned.
Keeping restaurants and hotels up to date with the latest design trends is a constant challenge. Finding qualified contractors isn't at finishingchicago.com. We work with top designers and general contractors who use the latest painting, drywall finishing, and wall covering techniques in Chicagoland's premier hotels and restaurants. The hospitality industry relies on finishingchicago.com as its free resource to find quality finishing contractors. For a great finish, start with finishingchicago.com.
24/7, IBEW Local 9 linemen are there protecting you and your family. From the moment you wake up with a power in your home, on your way to work, lighting the way and easing congestion, plus keeping you safe with traffic lights and cameras. So the next time you're at a stoplight, pass under a power line, or just pull into your brightly lit neighborhood, think of your friends at IBEW Local 9. We'll continue to light the way for you. Meet us online at IBEW9.org.
Got a commercial, industrial, or healthcare construction project? Use a professional Flooring Installers Association install certified contractor.
Flooring must be skillfully installed so it looks great and lasts.
PFIA skilled union installers receive industry-leading training, including ICRA, to deliver quality and safety with any flooring product.
PFIA contractors are the single source for all of your flooring needs.
Flooring done right. The Professional Flooring Installers Association.
The hardworking men and women of the skilled trades shape the face of our nation every day.
In the USA, anyone who is willing to risk it can drill for oil. But oil discovery is only part of the story. Once they get oil out of the ground, it has to be moved through pipelines, on ships, or in tank cars to fantastic processing plants called refineries. Crude oil goes in, and great Jupiter, the things that come out.
Every single year, we're reminded that climate change is happening and it's already impacting our infrastructure. Wind and solar power are becoming more and more affordable, but the work is not being done by skilled construction labor in the state because the clean energy sector does not include strong labor standards like prevailing wage laws. Prevailing wages are local minimum wages for different construction trades employed on construction projects. And they are intended to ensure that a worker can afford to live in the community where he or she is building a road, a bridge, a school, maybe even a clean energy project.
So this provides those opportunities for folks for a career, a long-term career. Municipalities can make money off of even the sales taxes, the property taxes, goes toward schooling as well.
In the clean energy economy, labor costs account for about 10% of total costs. 10%. Paying good middle-class wages and fringe benefits on these projects is not going to break the bank.
And Prevailing Wage attracts a skilled workforce whose productivity, safety, and craftsmanship actually offset any increase in cost.
The vast majority of the economic research finds that prevailing wage standards have no effect on total construction costs. When prevailing wage standards are included on a project, workers are not only paid a decent wage, but cents per hour training contributions are made into apprenticeship programs. Those apprenticeship programs produce skilled, productive, and safe workers. And the research shows that prevailing wage standards increase the market share of local contractors by as much as 10%. So we're increasing the work of people who actually live in the community by 10% compared to out-of-state, out-of-area contractors.
We've always been a leader in the wind industry and the renewable space in general.
We're in Good Hope, Illinois. We're building a 60 wind turbine power plant. As the towers get put together, the precision and the accuracy that we need, that falls into the mill rates. The contracts and everything are so tight that we need to come out here and be ready to go to work.
Want to be able to set your equipment and not have to worry about it after that because it's good quality work in the front ends.
We can call the union halls, get trained individuals out here. It just makes the job go a lot smoother.
Every day I send you 1,000 times more power than you use in a year.
Well, the science boys have come up with a sunshine kick that makes electricity out of your sunlight.
Well, I'll be darned.
Solar power in particular is becoming more and more affordable as new technologies are being developed.
You know, although this is quite expensive at the moment, the simplicity of this sunshine wafer is startling.
It gets 20% better every year. And so as it gets 20% better every year, the panels get better, it gets cheaper to install, and now solar is the lowest cost of energy that you can find out there.
When we first get out onto a project, the first thing and the most important thing, and also why carpenters are one of the best people for this, is the layout process in the field. It requires that we be very precise in measuring distances off of buildings, as well as pile distances and row distances.
To pour the concrete, to set the racking, to do all the different intricate details of the solar work, we have the workforce that can do it.
We have a great opportunity. We have kind of a nascent solar industry in Illinois, and what we really want to do is We want to have a local job force that is able to keep building these projects.
Find any other information, whether...
We have to make sure that the carpenters know how to install the panels, how to install the racking systems.
We have a skill advancement program. Every apprentice will go through the program, and all the carpenters they can certainly sign up for.
Carpenters in the future are going to be installing more of these. They're going to be building the buildings themselves, and then they'll get up on the roof and they'll be installing the solar panels.
Prevailing Wage is a great recruiting tool with the training opportunity, not only in the solar, but it also gives them the opportunity to cross-train to make a livable wage, a pension, a retirement, security for their future.
I'm very proud to be a part of the Carpenters Union. Because these jobs are paying the area standard and being within the state of Illinois' law, it's a win-win for everybody.
The devil's in the details, and that can go down to how many Newton meters are you using to torque down the screws in the racking, for instance. That's all going back to training.
When you have plumbing issues in your home, it can disrupt your whole routine. At Plumbers 911, we connect you with a highly experienced plumber in 5 minutes or less. We call it our 5-minute promise. All of our expert plumbers are highly trained, background checked, licensed, and insured, so you can feel confident that your job will be done right the first time. Our phones are open 24/7 to help solve your problem, day or night, at 1-833-PLUM-911. Plumbers 911, your plumbing connection.
We are DeWalt. We're the ones who grind it out. The ones using materials from all over the world to build the things that build America right here in America. And there's no place we'd rather be. Land of the free, tools of the brave.
This is a team. It's made up of different players, positions, skills, talented, sure, but on their own. Because every team needs a coach, someone who makes things work together. That's how Lesset works. We're coaches in the construction industry, bringing together laborers and management, unions and contractor associations. Our work leads to safer, stronger construction, which is a win for us all.
As the world embraces renewable energy, the need to install carbon-free platforms like solar panels and wind turbines is greater now more than ever.
It's really been fantastic to see the UBC get out in front of this solar boom and make sure that their members and their contractors are a part of it.
I think it definitely just demonstrates the UBC's willingness to adapt with change.
There's new technology, there's new innovation out there, and the carpenters are always at the forefront. What's important about our Carbon Free with the UBC conference is it's bringing together our contractors, our manufacturers, it's bringing together the developers.
We see this as an excellent networking tool to not only just know the members of the UBC, but all the tentacles that kind of offshoot from there.
It's good to see people doing business together, talking about projects, talking about growth opportunities.
Developing ideas, having conversation. Some of the best ideas in any industry came from meetings just like this.
I don't think many people understand the unbelievable amounts of solar that are going to get built here in the Midwest the next 30 years.
But it used to be noon is when the sun was south before they...
Maybe 10 years ago, a business would go solar because they had a really strong conviction to sustainability, but they were doing it at a cost premium.
You know, year upon year, we continue to bring the cost down. You continue to have panels that are higher wattage.
Meanwhile, the price of electricity keeps going up every year. So there's this concept in the industry, which we call grid parity, where it becomes cheaper to actually generate your own electricity than to buy it from the local utility.
Most people don't understand when it starts talking about kilowatts and all of these things, but they do understand that your electric bill is going to be reduced.
We'd sit at the interconnection of two giant grids, the MISO grid in central and southern Illinois, the PJM grid that stretches from Chicago all the way to New York City. We have a very excellent electric grid. The Midwest really has the opportunity to become the Saudi Arabia of renewable energy.
We're going to succeed in doing this by partnerships.
At the state and local levels, there's a lot of local incentives that also are driving the economics of these systems.
Counties are seeing their first projects get built, and those zoning officials who approved the first few ones want to see that this is actually creating local, good-paying jobs. Neighbors who are next to these projects want to know that they're built to the highest standards, and that's really where the UBC and union labor comes in.
We start by letting them know how many members we have that are representing their area. And as we start to talk about it, we start to mention to them that not only do we have members here, but we have opportunities that will open up.
If you go out into one of these big utility scale projects that's 100 megawatts, that thing isn't going to put itself in. It's going to require a lot of labor, many, many thousands of man hours to put a system like that in.
This is a spark plug to creating great career pathways. In Illinois, we're talking about 14 gigawatts of solar, 13 gigawatts of wind. We're talking about sustaining our nuclear fleet. This is an economic generator for not only those communities, but for the whole industry.
The opportunity now with solar and the creation of jobs is just huge. One of the keys, though, is being able to train these individuals to be productive, to be efficient, to be safe.
We always say the devil's in the details. And that can go down to how many Newton meters are you using to torque down the screws in the racking, for instance. That's all going back to training.
That's the difference between having a skilled trade carpenter versus someone that is unskilled. That person that's unskilled, we'll bring them into the brotherhood and we'll make them skilled as well.
We're bringing in individuals from every community.
It gives us an opportunity for women and minorities to bring them into our fold. It really takes them on a career path.
And we're retaining our workforces because we are cross-training them.
We have millwrights, we have cabinet makers, we have concrete carpenters, we have trim carpenters.
So if we need a welder, they have the opportunity to get that proficient welder. If they need a drop ceiling individual or a flooring individual, these are specialists, okay? So that contractor's getting the best of the best.
That's what we're all about because of our UBC president, Douglas McCarran. He believes in investment and training.
Got your emergency stop right here.
The UBC have a track record of skilled workforce that you can count on, quality craftsmanship, and that's both important early in the process as you're working with landowners and zoning officials, but really for the long-term viability of this industry.
Our Executive Secretary Treasurer Gary Pirnar is so passionate about where we're going with clean energy.
There's been an uptick at the federal level. We've recently rejoined the Paris Accord.
It's really exciting to see the leadership from the UBC at the policy level.
The clean energy legislation that is being proposed with labor standards is gonna expand the industry, it's gonna sustain the communities.
Every single solar panel we lay is reducing the carbon footprint for our customer.
We're making sure that we're providing the best workforce in the industry. And the only way we're going to do that is collectively networking with the industry, the developers, the owners, the contractors, and we have to make sure that our business representatives and also our members know that we're in it to win it.
That's all for this episode of Built to Last. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey, Monica, do you know what carpenters do at parties?
No, what?
They raise the roof. Get the hands
We'll
up.
see you
Come
next
on.
time.
Get your hands
Yeah.
up.